because I wouldn't accept the terms and conditions.
You're on now.
Because of the terms and conditions.
Oh, shit.
And
Okay,
that's
you're on.
that's hilarious.
Put you on there. So, let me-
Because I wouldn't accept. All right, everyone needs to turn their things down. All right, we good, Darcy? Okay, guys, let's see. Where's my audience? All right, look what we have here, Daniel. Oh, I still have some feedback on your end, Darcy. We're on loop. Okay. Tell her we're on loop. Test one, test two, test three. This is Emery. Okay, guys, looks like I can hear and see everyone. Daniel, Beatrice, Wendy. Uh-oh, they were going to loop now. We got another loop going.
So unmute yourself.
Testing one, two. So I know everybody can hear me, but on my side, I can hear myself again. All right, we're going to start. Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. I've had a spectacular week here in Vernal, Utah, with the Blind Frog Ranch group from Discovery Channel. It's just been an amazing experience. So much to share with you guys, and I hope it's not double talking. Maybe you guys are going to hear that. Unmute. There we go. How about we just do this, and this. Okay. Okay. Okay, can you guys hear me now? Someone say yes if you can hear me on the chat box. Yes, okay, Darcy. Looks great, guys. I'll start from the top. Once again, thank you for, sorry for all this. You know, some powers don't want me talking about what I'm about to talk about. This does happen now and then. I'm in Vernal, Utah with Discovery Channel and Blind Frog Ranch crew. Duane Ollinger and Chad Ollinger, good friends of mine, family. We're amazing week doing CE5s and collecting data and specimens from the soil and the water, and just I can't wait for you guys to watch season 3. It's going to be insane. But enough of that. We're here to do Q&A today about anything you really want. I know you guys have a lot of questions. I do get questions throughout the year with cosmic disclosure, so I decided to do a once a month, Q&A with cosmic disclosure or any other, questions you may have about current events and also where the extraterrestrials stand at this time. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I will jump right into Wendy here, and hopefully you can hear me. Oh, that was not a real question. Okay, we were just trying to hook up. Let's see what else is here. Okay. Wow, we have a good group today. Thank you guys so much for all your support, by the way. I love you guys, all in my prayers. So much fun things are going on, and the consciousness is just going through the roof here on this planet and in other dimensions. So, Naomi said, how do you see the two realms converging in the future, and what implications might this have for humanity? Well, number one, the realms are already converged. They're there right now at the same time. So you can't think of it as, it is going to have that time where, the veils are at its closest and already through, but it's already been going in and out. So when you're talking about the different types of consciousness that are out there within the different realms, it's already here. What's going to happen is there are different levels of consciousness that everyone's already, at. Whether you're a first time around or you've been here millions and millions of years and going through this because you bought the ticket for this show and volunteered to be here at this splendid, beautiful time. It's going to be still always an awakening. The awakening is always happening, whether it's here in a three-dimensional where you're trying to get used to your new job, or following the political agenda, or speaking with the extraterrestrials during CE5s. So what we have to do is stay true to heart and be vigilant and accept the change. The change is a beautiful thing. Of course, it's going to be painful. If it wasn't painful, then we wouldn't really progress anywhere. It's one of these hard things that we have to go through as light bodies, and there's going to be a lot of difficulties doing that. So you have to embrace that sound, that formation that's coming at you. And what that means is, a good saying is there was a cosmonaut that was stuck up on the International Space Station by himself, and he got up there and he kept hearing this knock, this constant knock, 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 and he had no idea what that knock was. And instead of him, it driving him crazy, he basically embraced it and was singing tunes to it and fell in love with it. So when this convergence that you're talking about, Naomi, in pop culture, it really means that we're going to be still all the one, all the creator, all the same. And that's going to be an eye-opening for everyone once you see your true self, which you have many selves and many different dimensions. You're here and you're everywhere all the time. So it is going to be a positive thing. There might be on the 3D, of course, some chaotic situations. You might see people trying to start more wars. You might see the religions start to fail. Because it's gonna ruin a lot of a lot of organized religions. A lot of history needs to be rewritten. So I think looking forward, it's going to be a positive event. But there's going to be lots of change. There's going to be lots of strife and struggle. It depends on how you want to accept that moving forward. Okay. Let me see. Daniel, Kathy, Rosaria, Marinelle, Valerie, Daniel, Beatrice, thanks for coming. Amber, what is the Blind Frog Ranch in Utah, and are you going to be on the Discovery Channel? Well, I'm working behind the scenes on Blind Frog Ranch right now. Maybe in season 4, I might be on there, kind of basically behind the scenes doing some testing and observation of some of the anomalies that are not anomalies anymore. That I verified. There's a lot of action here, which I can't wait to get into. So, Amber, I'm going to save that a little bit later because I do have a special guest that's going to join us, halfway through this, and you'll be excited. And that has to do with Blind Frog Ranch. Blind Frog Ranch is the Blind Frog Ranch going to be on Gaia? Now everyone knows I had a nice series going with Duane Ollinger there. We did, I think, 8 to 16 episodes, and we talked about Blind Frog Ranch, and we're going to talk about that today actually because it is the hot topic that I've been involved with this week, and I think you guys need to know what's going on out there, and we're going to get into that. I'm glad you're jumping right into that, because if you guys want to start with that right now, we can. And let me just look at some of these other questions. Okay. So I have a big gift for you guys, and I have to do some things clandestine sometimes, but everyone knows my team is full of the Richard Doty's and the David Adair's and all the wonderful scientific people that we have. But there's a group I've been working with that I really haven't been upfront with or told anyone about because I've been under a non-disclosure agreement. Now that I'm kind of, ankles deep in with all this stuff, I would love to introduce you to one of my really close friends, Chad Ollinger. And Chad Ollinger is one of the Blind Frog Ranch people. His dad is Duane Ollinger. Hey, Chad.
What's up, brother?
How you doing?
Hey, good.
Good to see you.
Hello, everyone.
This is Chad Ollinger. He is the heart and guts of Blind Frog Ranch, and he had an amazing week here. Watching him control and manage the chaos that happens now and then, and also some of the most amazing how can I say it, spiritual anomalies out there that happen that you could sit here all day for probably 8 hours, which I would like to do a show with you separately just to go over that. But up here I had some questions, and what we're going to do is start with that, and that's why I'm going to bring you in right now, if that's okay, Chad.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because it says, what is Blind Frog Ranch in Utah, and are you going to be on Discovery Channel? I already told you that may happen in season 4. Right now, I just work behind the scenes, doing a lot of testing of the soils and waters and DNA testing, which we'll get into a little bit later. So how would you say, what would you tell everyone? What is Blind Frog Ranch?
So back, back in 2009, my dad bought this ranch, and it had to do with like this buried treasure.
Right, yeah, the treasure was started this.
Yeah,
right.
so that's what started it all. So we were looking for this lost treasure from the 1600s, from the Aztecs and the Spaniards, and even the Mormons.
Yes.
And along the way, we start realizing like there's a lot of like paranormal stuff going on, UFOs, and it just.
I'm biting my tongue right now because of what we experienced even last night. But keep going.
Yeah. So it's been a journey. Like before I came here, I didn't believe in much of this stuff,
right?
Because I'd never seen any of it. But going out there and experiencing this, it changes your whole perspective.
Absolutely. You guys have to log on to Discovery Channel or whatever channel. I don't know if it's on Netflix or where they could get it, but Blind Frog Ranch, you have to binge watch it now, the first 2 seasons, so you can get caught up with it. It's really amazing. I really support it because it's real time. It's not like I'm not a big fan of Skinwalker Ranch, which there's a question coming up on that, which is down the road about 30 miles across the street from this ranch. How big is Blind Frog Ranch?
So it's 160 acres.
160 acres. Yeah. And the discoveries out there are just ongoing. That's why you guys got to log in, watch Blind Frog Ranch. It's an amazing story. And now we're getting really scientific about it, and we're getting better equipment to really look into that. So, it's about the treasure. at first, like you said, and then they discovered this cavern system.
Yeah.
I mean, miles and miles of this cavern system underground, which you'll see a lot of that. I don't know if you can talk too much about these cavern systems and how you.
Yeah. So that was how we figured out at the ranch and how it got its name, the Blind Frog Ranch.
Right.
My dad was up there with a crew, and they were digging different places. George Stevens, which you
George Stevens, yep.
Yeah, he was there camping out. Anyways, they started drilling in this one hole, drilled down, and then water came up, also with frogs. So that just shows that there's its own ecosystem, and they couldn't see. There was no sunlight, so they were albino frogs that were blind. So hence the name Blind Frog Ranch.
That's why we call it Blind Frog Ranch. And I talk about this on many of my episodes on Cosmic Disclosure on Gaia TV. I have many series about inner Earth and different inner Earth biospheres that are down there. And it looks like, Chad and his dad, when they were drilling, they actually hit one of these. And all these frogs came up and other life forms, plankton and stuff, which I'm actually studying right now with samples to find out the DNA of all the stuff that lives down there, which is fascinating to know that, and I don't know how deep, could you tell them how deep that was? Is it like 100 feet or what was that?
No, it's around 30 to
30,
50 foot.
30 or 50 feet.
Yeah.
So we basically, what they basically did is they hit this giant pocket of life under the ground that was never, found or discovered before. Now, these biospheres are all over the planet, and there's some that are much, much larger. We still don't know how extent this one is yet, and that's what we're doing with ground penetrating radars and special satellite stuff that we use that's kind of classified to figure out how deep this goes, who's down there, how long has it been down there, and maybe there's some treasure down there.
Yeah. And we also discovered a new, more things down there as far as like different animals. So it's I can't speak much on that, but we do believe that there is still lost treasure there. There's too many signs that lead to it, and we're finding some cool stuff too. And
right. Yes, I've seen that. Yeah. I saw that. What about? Could you tell them like what kind of historically for the area, like what kind of treasure are you looking for?
So it goes back to the Aztecs, which it switched hands so many times from the Aztecs to the Mormons to the Aztecs to the Spanish to the Mormons. Now that's what happens is they get stolen, and then people get taken over, and then even with the natives, and the natives made a deal with the Mormons. So it's all confusing because it went through so many hands, but it's still there, and. What was your question again?
Oh no, I was just saying that is it. That's correct. I mean, I was just saying what types of treasures were there, and all these things are involved. There's so many different, with the Mormons and the Indians and the conquistadors, all the mixing and also the intermingling of different gold, and silver and copper. It's just fascinating. I love the history of treasure hunting, most definitely, and it's interesting because a lot of the people that worked on this project. I actually worked with on many other treasure hunting projects, as you know, and that's why I was called out to come out here and kind of, give my 2 cents of what's really going on. And it's not just golden treasure out there. There are some other things out there. If I'm here, you can kind of figure out what the heck is Emery doing on another treasure hunting? Because I can't talk about exactly that yet until we do the testing and see. But it's really phenomenal. And there's a lot larger things down there than blind frogs coming out of the ground. I can say that much. So the next question here, let's see down here. We have one here. Okay, there was something. Let's see. Okay, Skinwalker Ranch is near Blind Frog. What is your thoughts on that? I'm not a big Skinwalker Ranch person just because I know too much and I remote view, and I know they've been out there with $1 million film crews, and it's still a blurry picture of something. It's like trying to get a picture of Bigfoot. It's always blurry, but Bigfoot's an extraterrestrial at least. But through your experience, because you know these guys very well, and you have people on your team that have actually worked out there.
Right.
So what do you? What's your take on Skinwalker?
As far as Skinwalkers, I've never seen one, but I know the natives around here are super. They won't even mention the name Skinwalker because it's been embedded or the fear is real for them.
Mhm.
Now I've never actually seen one, and yeah, we have Ryan Skinner on our crew now, and
Right.
he's been out at Skinwalker for years now, and he was one of the first ones back when Bigelow had it, and he would sneak out there and watch like UFOs and crazy stuff
Sure.
back in the day. And yeah, Ryan's a good guy, and I know a couple other guys on Skinwalker, but as far as like what's going on there, I've never been out there. They're pretty top secret with everything, so I've never been invited out there,
You're
so
right.
I don't know a whole lot about it. But
Yeah, I believe there are, an underground facility there that they're doing some weird stuff. As far as the whole skinwalker thing running around, I don't believe in that.
right,
Hybridization programs do exist all over the United States and Australia and some places in Europe that I've actually been involved with. So I know there are these types of underground facilities. I know Vernal here, just staying here, this past week, looking at, Halliburton and all the different aerospace companies out here and all the big oil well digging companies out here. There's definitely some more, I think, facilities being constructed through some of the DoD contractors that I just saw in passing, at the hotels and around here. But that's just me and my opinion. All right, let's see what's next here. Hey, Lynn, Nancy, Daniel, welcome. Are the subterranean societies, okay, this is from Debbie, are the subterranean societies different from the Hollow Earth societies? Well, there's many different races down there of extraterrestrials, and there's also human-built, facilities down there. And then when you say Hollow Earth, Hollow Earth is definitely a big term. If you want to look at Agartha and how the Earth, it seems, comes all the way around, and then it goes through the center, and there's this giant opening with its own, illumination and sun. That's what we call the central sun, which I believe in. I don't believe in flat Earth, everybody, because of certain things that I've been exo-atmospheric. But I do believe in Hollow Earth, of course. I do believe in a lot of that because of some of the portal technology that I was introduced to, that I was able to actually go on and go through. So they definitely have multiple societies down there. And yeah, the reptilians do have their own facilities and underground spacecraft. There's large spacecraft down there that we have accidentally tunneled into many times, not just the reptilians, but other races. And it looks like a giant city, but it's actually a very large craft that actually has jungles, has energy, light sources, has waterfalls and lakes that you wouldn't believe would be on a craft. But then again, there's also these, large biospheres in there, many, many, many miles long. The oceans in inner Earth are way larger than any oceans we have on topside Earth. So my belief is we definitely have something like that. I mean, you just drilling down there and finding, life below the depths of the Earth's crust kind of shows that, yeah, this is possible.
yeah, it's possible.
Something could, maybe
right,
live in there.
right.
Okay. Let's see, okay, we did that one. And Lilia. So who is there ruling Antarctica? Is it still in the hands of Emery or Draco reptilian? Oh, the Emery. Yeah, and the Dracos. Well, they started all that down there. I don't know if they're still there. The Germans went down there and they did bring, a lot of equipment. They did have their own alien reproduction vehicles. I do believe in the documentation that I read while I was in that did show a lot of this stuff. They do have large craft down there. The surface is melting and these craft are sticking up. And everyone always asks me, when is disclosure going to happen with extraterrestrials in the craft? And it's already happened. It's happening. And who's going to be responsible for that? Well, that's going to be Gaia Earth, not Gaia TV, but Gaia Earth, because it's melting, that these craft and these cities are emerging, and they're trying to white them out on Google, but they can't. It's going to be hard to hide a 30-mile long craft that's melting, coming out of the crust. And they're already going down there and adding artifacts from Egypt, from the ancient Mayans, to discombobulate the universities once they come public, say, yeah, we did find a city down here, but they're taking out all that extraterrestrial technologies right now and black boxing that still, unfortunately. But there are civilizations still operational down there. Like I said, I don't know which ones at this time, but yes, in the past they had these. Most of them were abandoned. These were back from Lemuria times and from Atlantean times, and that's what they're discovering is these large cities, underneath the ice. That's many many miles thick. Okay. Yes, Darcy, it is near Skinwalker Ranch. Thank you, Darcy. All right, Debbie. Do more than one specific extraterrestrial groups monitor, track, lineages of a human family? Well, the extraterrestrials already have the ability to track all lineages of all humans on planet Earth that are human born. Our governments now have the ability, and we were talking about this yesterday with the Elon Musk and the satellites coming over.
Right, exactly, yeah.
We saw the whole Elon Musk array come over the Blind Frog Ranch last night. It was very beautiful. Unfortunately, those are out there to track people that have had the inoculation and track lineages. So there is a few organizations out there, diabolical, that want to know the different types of genetics that humans are carrying. Now, working in the classified projects, as most of you know, I was responsible for the genetic libraries that we had built to house all the different types of extraterrestrial genetic DNA that was there, and hopefully one day they're going to release that. One of these banks is hovering exoatmospheric in a type of satellite. One's on the moon, one is in the Marianas Trench, and a couple are at some high secured facilities here on the crust of the Earth. They're probably not going to do that, but they're finding out. We found out when we were doing all the testing that all humans have some form of extraterrestrial DNA in them, different percentages from different races from all over. Now, we did come across some that did not, which means they were either cloned or they were grown as a programmed life form. We talked about that this week too, that these things, they can actually grow bodies. Pine Gap has 300,000 different types of clones out there, maybe for the fake alien invasion agenda, maybe for the fake zombie apocalypse. These are all things that's not just me saying it, but many scholars before me have said this, and you even brought up, was it Nostradamus? Who'd you say?
Oh, yeah, Nostradamus.
Nostradamus was talking with the zombies and stuff. Yeah, so these are things that may or may not happen. I think if there was a evil fake alien invasion, that the extraterrestrials won't go for that. I think they would intervene, just as they would intervene if there was a mutually assured destruction with nuclear material. They don't want this planet to go either. But we do have to learn. We do have to fall. We have to make mistakes, and maybe those mistakes will bring us all together. As Ronald Reagan once said, if there was an evil alien threat, imagine how all of our differences would go away. I looked that up. That was at the United Nations, I believe. All right, Andrea. I live in Hawaii, and I've seen tons of UFOs last week. Yes, I have too, Andrea, in Maui. I know some are ours and some are not. Most of them I could not photograph. One I could. Do you know if there are any because of the Maui event? Oh my gosh, I might have to bring another person here into this talk, but that's here from Maui. We go to Maui at least, 2, 3, 4 times a year for patients, and we do a lot of. We talked about Maui last night with the night marchers and with the other valley, Yo Valley there. There's a high amount of extraterrestrial life there and UFOs. There's a facility there at the volcano in Yo Valley at the top of that cut off little mesa. There's a lot of underground facilities there monitoring these extraterrestrial ETVs coming in and out of the water and out of the mountains. I can definitely confirm that. So I hope that answers it. As far as the fires, the fires were man-made. That was an energy beam weapon, scalar infotmetry weapon, kind of like HARP, how we manipulate, the weather. We've been utilizing these energy beam weapons for many, many years. That's where spontaneous human combustion was coming from, when people were just incinerated in their lazy boys and the lazy boy didn't burn. Now you're seeing it firsthand in Maui. You're seeing it firsthand in the Northern California fires. This is a direct threat of a different agenda that, instead of calling out names, because I get in trouble for that, of some of the billionaires out there in Miami that are trying to start a new leaf. It's unfair to Maui. My heart goes out to all my friends and family out there and all my fans. We've been praying for you guys. It's just devastating to see the lack of the government coming in when we have to bring our own militias in just to get water to our people out there. They have been alienated, and there is room for cause that, we're talking civil war, acts against humans on a level that we've never seen before. And if that's happening on Maui, I am concerned that it could definitely, and has already happened here, but not to that extent. So, all I know is we all have a safe place with Chad at Blind Frog Ranch in the underground canyons.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm just
Come
playing.
on over.
Come on over. Be careful, watch it. These guys. But yeah, so that's what's going on there. The ETs, they didn't allow that to happen. They have to sit back and watch, us kill each other. We have to step up and regulate. Hey, something is wrong here on planet Earth. We have to step up and get the right leaders in place and the right organizations that, the truth is coming out. This is the age of Aquarius. The truth will come out on everything and everybody. I don't care who you are, with the smallest details to the largest global, extraterrestrial, universal, interdimensional arenas. And I think this harshness that's coming down is actually going to bring us to that next level of consciousness. Okay. Daniel, tell me about the secrets John has left for you, if you can, or just tell me. I'm assuming John Lear, Daniel, is that correct? I know a bunch of Johns. So John Lear, real good friend of mine, you guys know, passed, left me a lot of information. I was going through it with Allie Lear, his daughter, really fascinating things. So, many really beautiful maps of the maglev units around the world. Of course, really detailed photographs of the moon that, I will try to put a lot of this stuff together. I'm glad you brought that up. We'll make note of that, because I do want to share that information. There's a lot of information he's never told that I know about and the family knows about, that I'm asking permission if we can do a soft disclosure on that. John Lear was head of Learjet's, a good friend of mine. He was really just forefront, coming forward with Bob Lazar, his best friend, with this information for 3 decades or more. Just a great man. So I'll see what we can do on that one. Can you explain a CE5 a bit more? And is this open to the public as well? Nancy. Yes, Nancy. A CE5 is a close encounter of the fifth kind. Coined term. The term was coined by Stephen Greer from the Centers for Research for Extraterrestrial Intelligence about 30 years ago. I was vice president of CSETI for 7 years with Stephen Greer, as everyone knows, and helped achieve a little bit better communication, modifying the CE5 encounters and adding different additional equipment and telepathy skills. Yes, CE5, you can go to CSETI, I think, .com.org. Check out Stephen Greer's website. He's got a plethora of stuff. There's CE5 events locally, so we have millions of people around the planet that do CE5s in their own neighborhoods and states. And it was interesting because we took our small group out this week at Blind Frog Ranch, and I was training them on the CE5 protocols. And this is something that you got to find a good group. A CE5, close encounter of the fifth kind, is when you reach out to these extraterrestrials out there and you invite them over. Everyone's always saying, why don't they just show up at my front door? Why don't I get visited at night? Why aren't they like showing up at the White House lawn? Well, I don't know, but sometimes in the middle of the night when Chad comes over banging on my door without me knowing, he didn't tell me he's coming over. We want to be invited.
Right. Sure, it makes sense.
And actually, it's the other way around. And Chad's like, "Oh gosh, it's crazy Emery with all his fucking equipment driving me nuts." So what I'm saying is you want to invite someone over. And so CE5 is about inviting the extraterrestrials to make contact with you. That's safe and effective for them as well, because you don't want them showing up and then we're shooting them down. You have to be careful with a lot of that stuff with them. So it's the communication about getting that. And you can like I said, look up CE5, and there's so much stuff online. Watch the documentary that I helped produce and direct and raise money for. It's called the Sirius, Sirius, the documentary. You can also watch the autopsy I did there on that Atacama being as well. So check that out. Everyone should, there's also an app, a CE5 app that I promote that I have nothing to do with. It's Stephen Greer's. Check that out, and hopefully you'll get a little bit more educated on that and join a group in your area. So I don't know, where you live, Nancy, but I'm sure there's definitely a group in your area, because we're everywhere. We're this clan of amazing people. Anyone can join, and anyone can go up under the stars and learn these techniques and vector them in. Last night we had a silver ship, come across the Blind Frog Ranch, which you saw, I saw, Darla saw, and it was amazing. And Chad has amazing equipment out here. He has a thermal drone. He can scan the entire ranch in 30 minutes, and we can see all the stuff. And sometimes these craft come in, and we can't see them, but on the thermal drone camera, we can you'll see the whole outline. So it's giving off a different temperature, sometimes colder than the ambient temperature, and sometimes warmer, even though they're cloaked. So get yourself a good pair of thermal night vision goggles, and also just get night vision goggles, not the thermal ones, just plain night vision, because that really helps you see about 45% more of what's going on out there in the 3D. Now, not everything with CE5s is all about 3D. A lot has to do with harmonics, telepathy, and seeing scintillating lights around. There's so many different forms of contact, and we utilize many different types of little devices. Like I was showing Chad yesterday, like my storm trackers and my lightning trackers and my electromagnetic field tri-field meters, and how we use special UV light lasers and different strobe light effects to make these contacts using consciousness thought sequencing through light.
Yeah, it was incredible, like with all the tools and the connectivity to whatever was trying to contact us. I mean, it would, like, your machines would start going off after you talk about something that they agreed with.
Like a little confirmation.
Yeah, confirmation. Yeah, it was a neat experience, and really neat. So yeah, thanks.
Yeah, no, I had a good time. It was great. Okay, what else we have here? Let me blow this up a little bit. Okay. All right. Okay, Bill says, do your sources validate Elena Danian and Michael Salas saying negative ETs have been pushed out of the solar system? Well, I don't believe so, because the most negative race I know is still here, and that's us.
Gotcha.
So, but I see what you're saying, Bill. I love Michael Sala, great friend of mine, such a great guy. I don't know that. I can't answer to what Michael and what she's saying. I know there's extraterrestrial life everywhere. They're here. We've been seeing them all week, communicating with them. Negative ETs are usually forbidden to go amongst the stars and harass other civilizations like ourselves. We're quarantined to this planet for the most part because we can't get along with each other. So they don't want us going out and infecting the other races and the other galactic federations that are out there. All right, Lilia. What is going on Mars? Is there a battle or slow transfer of power from the Draco reptilians and Dark Fleet, or the ICC is still ruling us, or Pleiadians from Alcyon, Arcturians, Patel, and Andromedans took over Mars and helping us to unite with us? There are many races on Mars working together. I don't believe the war is still going on. Randy Kramer has a lot of information on that. I've done a lot of shows with Randy Kramer on cosmic disclosure. He gets a little bit more in detail with that. But currently, I don't know of any. There's always unrest when there's reptilians involved. So there's always like a little something going on the moon, or something going on the Mars, or something going on the Federation. But for the most part, I'm not aware of today anyone stepping on anyone's feet over there. I think they're preparing for our direct contact with all of our rovers, and now we're trying to plan a flight over there. We'll see what happens and unfolds with that. But for the most part, these races are working together and patiently trying to work with us. Okay, Beatrice. There's a couple on YouTube and Facebook that have a great relationship with the Zetas. According to the main Zeta, they channel. He says that it's dangerous to do a CE5 because that is like opening the front door to your house and letting anyone and everyone inside, which could be dangerous. Personally, I meditate in my house to connect with benevolent ETs and have never had any issues. I've never had any issues with that. There are negative astral spirits out there. I do believe in ghosts, which I do believe are other entities that are from different dimensions. I do believe that we also can be of these light bodies after we move on from this shell and can do different things. Uh, you know, I think you have to use your own heart feeling. It's like when someone walks in the room and everyone's happy, and someone walks in, all of a sudden they're so negative, and then that starts to go to each person, and then we all have this feeling. I think using your gut and heart feeling about how these people, or these entities are that you're communicating with, how they respond, and what's your feeling on that. Every extraterrestrial race has, some good and bad going on. And for those that believe in the law of one, like myself, there's not like a good and bad. I'm just saying that right now in the three-dimensional, that there are judgment calls of this is feeling bad, this is feeling good, maybe this is negative, maybe this isn't. This is something that it's different for each individual. Maybe some people do like to be harassed. We were making jokes, this week about abductions, and a couple people were saying, "No, abduct me, no, abduct me," and I said, "Well, you can't abduct the willing." So as a joke. And these are things that if you want to engage with these types of beings, you're going to know right away. And the Zetas, are a very highly advanced civilization that have lost their emotions. They have engineered themselves so they don't feel any more emotions. They kept one emotion, and that emotion, believe it or not, was fun.
Really?
I think it was fun. And other emotions of love and decision making, they kind of blocked out because they wanted to be a superior scientific race.
Gotcha.
So I hope that answers it a little bit. Well, I have another special guest who walked into the room, which I would just want to introduce. I know you're really busy doing some things. If you want to swing by, just say hi to the people out here. Yeah. So this is the president of Blind Frog Ranch. This is Mr. Duane Ollinger.
I don't know about president, though.
Yeah, have a seat here.
Oh, hell.
Have a seat. Just for a second. I'll scoot him.
Yeah.
What are you up to?
All right, we got some people on here, Dwayne.
This way over my
Yeah,
head.
right there, that chair.
Right here. Which one?
Mhm.
Oh, hell. This is the hot seat.
Just a second. Dwayne's just going to say hello.
Yeah.
He's in and out here. I mean, he's such a blessing to have. He's been out here at this ranch, busting his ass, We had a really good time this week, though.
We did, and got to learn a lot of things. Me and Chad, or Chad and I, and the whole deal. So it's
Yeah, it was
you
quite
kind of
interesting.
know some stuff, Emery.
Yeah, I know some stuff. Yeah,
You know
well,
some stuff.
I know a
You
little
damn sure
bit,
do.
and I'm glad you invited me out. Once again to give you my take on some of the amazing things. We can't really talk about it, but we can give some teasers to you guys because there's amazing life out there in the solar system, and then there's amazing life in inner Earth as well that we don't know so much about. That I think Blind Frog Ranch is going to be the epicenter in the near future of divulging other beings, other life forms, because of the fact that it's in a very hot spot. That the ancients, as Chad knows, the ancient ones that were here, and the Indians, there's a history of this area being really hot with extraterrestrial, activity. And we went out last night. Actually, I was telling them, and Duane was out there, checking out the stars. It's interesting because they're out there all the time, and it's when you get a group out there and say, hey, let's really focus about the area. Beautiful things happen, and it's nice to know and to see all the connections with the land and with the ancients and with the extraterrestrials that are there all the time. We just can't see them sometimes with the 3D. To have confirmation that there are some things going on. You guys just finished season 3, and it was quite amazing. I got to watch you guys in your element, and a couple rescue missions.
Oh, yeah.
But
Kind of screw up there on the
it was a really good time. And Duane, what really made you? I'm just going to ask one question for myself, for the audience. What made you actually come out to Blind Frog? What was the first kind of inclination? You heard? Is it from George Stevens or?
Well, George Stevens is a big part of it.
Yeah.
Maybe you know him as well.
Yeah, I know George Stevens, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you know he was pretty high level.
He was a high level guy. He unfortunately passed away. He could see in 30 different shades of gray. So he could use satellites or fly over areas and measure, the ions coming out of the foliage or the cactus or the dirt to see, where, these minerals, this gold or silver or copper is emanating from. So, God bless George Stevens, who helped us on so many other expeditions that I was involved with. An amazing man, and had these special abilities. It's less than 0.0000138% of the population can see this ionic material from far away in the atmosphere, actually. So, in the ancient times, the Europeans and the pirates and all that, even the old Sinclair families, when they were moving a lot of the Spanish treasures, over or looking for Spanish treasures and whatnot, they could actually see over the Atlantic Ocean and see, this haze. He had this ability. What a beautiful ability. And that's, I think, why Duane started, coming out here researching this and then finding out there's a whole lot more going on than a couple of albino frogs jumping around. And that's why they called me in. And I think it's beautiful that they're taking the forefront, being the people instead of just black boxing it and not saying anything, allowing the public to kind of see through the series Blind Frog Ranch, what's going on. I know he has to go, but if you have any immediate questions, I'll take maybe one question for Duane, if you have, because I know Chad and I are taking all the.
Yeah, that's all right. You guys are good.
Hmm? They asked about more. Okay, let me look for it. Okay, when is season 3 starting? I think February.
They changed it. I heard the update is November.
November. Okay. And I'll look for the Jeremiah one. What's it say, Darla? Let's see here.
It's asking about Jeremiah and the Galactic Federation.
Okay. Well, that would definitely be a question for you. The question, no, there's so many.
Please tell us more about Jeremiah and the Galactic Federation.
Please tell us more about Jeremiah and the Galactic Federation.
You know, that's a big old.
That's a big story.
That's a
You know,
big
he's.
question.
You know, I can help out with that. You know, he number one, he was always been in contact. Correct. You know, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And you know, he was a great educator and a good friend of yours for many years, and you know, helped guide you through this batshit crazy event. And go ahead.
Well, we, oh man, where to start? We started back in '09, and until he died in '18, he would help us out on different projects. And I know that sounds crazy, but you know, I seen the craft. I've seen 10 total, and they did a lot of good things.
Yeah, the craft were there right above the mountain. 3 of them came down right over there near Blind Frog Ranch, and Jeremiah was well aware of it and informed Duane. You know, we talk about this actually on Cosmic Disclosure episodes, but in a nutshell, you know, it was all already foretold by Jeremiah and to Duane that, you know, hey, you know, they're here. You know, that's them checking in and doing what they have to do. And you can see more about that on Cosmic Disclosure. And I think that was also something that motivated you, correct me if I'm wrong, to look into this a little bit more seriously.
Oh yeah. Whenever you know, we had a big construction company, and after I saw what I saw, you just couldn't keep your mind on the target of what we did for a living,
Right.
and you just had to follow this one. And all I can say, and I know this sounds crazy, but this is real.
Yes, it is real.
It's real.
110% real.
It's real. And it's not something that a bunch of Texas boys want to talk about, because you know
Yeah, it sounds a little, you know.
They call you flat ass crazy.
Yeah, I can see the ranchers out there in Texas saying that.
You still have to tell your story.
You got to tell the story, and you know, you experienced it firsthand. Both of you guys experienced all this firsthand. I experienced it firsthand. Many other people who have come out here have experienced it firsthand, and it is the real deal. This is not some crazy story that just came out of nowhere. There's so many really gifted, beautiful people that were involved with this at the beginning that are no longer here. That you know, it's basically you can't make this shit up. This is a bona fide, real event that's happening here on Blind Frog Ranch that has direct connections with the whole world as a whole, of, you know, for the betterment of people. Actually, it's not just finding some artifacts and gold. There's a lot more coming out of this, as far as, you know, the healing. And we were talking about that yesterday, Chad, how this is going to, you know, build on so many beautiful things for humanity around the planet, which we'll probably get into a little later. Valerie says, hello, Chad, big fan of Blind Frog.
Oh, thanks. Hey, Valerie. Thanks for all the shout outs. Thanks for all the
And so to Daniel, the one true Chad. Kathy, hello, Chad.
Hey.
Glenn, hey, Chad. How are you, brother?
What's up?
Man, you're taking over the whole thing.
Right.
Daniel says, hey, Chad. Yeah, Chad is the movie star out here. I'm telling you, he is. He's beyond Crocodile Dundee, all those guys. He's hardcore, works the hardest out there, and you know, he doesn't give a F about anything. He'll jump in that water, scuba dive down, you know, dig somebody out of a real bad situation. No pun intended. And
it wasn't good.
It wasn't good. You're going to see it though, guys, on season 3. You know, he's the guy you want there to rescue. He's super survivalist, real sweetheart guy, really hardcore and really intelligent. You know, he's on there doing all the stuff. But I'll tell you, this guy right here, he's very conscious and he's very aware, and he connects really well with nature and the ETs and everyone out there. You know, he sees it happening, but you know, he's not going to tell everyone about it. But he's gonna analyze it himself and then bring it up a little bit later.
Thank you. And that's the thing. Emery being out here, he's teaching us so much stuff, man. Honestly, we've learned so much, and thank you for coming out.
Thanks,
Great.
guys. I really appreciate that. I'm here for that, and I'm learning a lot from you guys too. Even
What not to do.
yeah, what not to do. Well, you learn from mistakes there, Duane. It's all right. We got a trip to make sure we don't fall over the tumbleweed again, and we learn from each other, and that's what I love. You guys teach me, I teach you, and I like it because you're really receptive to new things about communication with extraterrestrials and telepathy, and what to do next time you see one. There's different protocols we have in place to and you guys are more than overtrained for that now. You guys had so much contact. It's a gift, and it's for a reason. And we'll see that in the future on maybe future episodes.
Okay. Well,
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
you need to kick me on out here and let y'all take back over.
No, go ahead. I know Duane. Duane's got to go. He's got some other interviews and some other things going on. But I really appreciate you coming.
Well, not
Brother.
a problem, and I'll have the blue moon cooled off.
All right, that sounds good. I'll be there shortly.
You guys get up here and do your magic. See y'all.
All right, take care, Duane.
Bye, bye.
Duane Ollinger, ladies and gentlemen. That guy right there. Tell you what. All right, so let me get. It's funny. All right, let's get back up here. All right, did that. Wendy, how's your health? Emery, do you have access still to ET Tech Healing Methods? Yes, I do. And if you go to emerysmith.co, I'm going to be featuring next week my quantum foot bath, and has nothing to do with water, by the way, and which we're able to alleviate spike proteins in people that have been inoculated. The other stuff we have is the nano blue particle, 0.02 nanometers. These are things that we have been developing for cancers and really harsh diseases. It's an all-in-one type of solution. We tachionize it. It's a 4-state plasma water with nano zinc particles, gold, ormus. It goes about 130 different crystal frequencies. Goes through the Nolfegio frequencies. It goes through about 9 different photonic light frequencies. You take this orally. I mean, you can look it up. You can use it as a face serum or a skin serum, and you can use it as a nasal ear spray or throat spray. Actually, we have Chad on it because during our last dive here a couple days ago, scuba diving, he blew both of his eardrums, the poor guy.
Yeah.
And, it happens, sometimes in these environments where you're at super high elevations and you're super deep and, you got debris all around you. It's like going through a shipwreck, and electromagnetic pulse energies are coming out of nowhere. Very interesting stuff you guys are going to see on the next season. But we're working on him with that.
Yeah,
and,
thank you. It's helping. It's helping a lot. It's
Yeah.
a lot better. Yeah. They're not oozing or bleeding anymore.
Yeah.
It sounds terrible, but it's helping a lot. So I'm a fan.
Yeah, check it out. The Nano Blue. You probably want to look at the 50 ml vial. Is really good for that stuff. The spray, then the serum too, is amazing for skin stuff. But I'll be giving those talks. But yeah, we're still having amazing equipment. We're doing a lot of far infrared stuff. My health has definitely improved. I was diagnosed with leptomeningeal cancer November 15th, 2022. And we use a lot of also frequency type Rife devices. I have my own frequency device. It's kind of like an AO. And what we do is we hook you up. We can do long distance scans. We also offer those with my device online. If you have someone that you want to get a scan for, please contact us. We have these things called stat packs. But getting back to the cancer, they gave me 2 weeks to live. With chemo and radiation, they gave me 4 weeks to live. Now, my dad and my grandmother both died of this cancer after it turned into grade 4 glioblastoma brain cancer. So I trained my whole life for these cancers, and I treat so many cancer patients. it was just interesting that I finally got this cancer, and now I had to deal with it and my team. And God bless them, because we did finally find the frequencies, and we were, I invented this nanoparticle zinc because it upregulates the voltage of the body, so your body can actually fight itself. It's just getting the body back to homeostasis and fixing the DNA. So we go on that scan all the way through the nucleus, nucleolus of the cell, into the DNA, into the chromosomes, and we find out, what's in misalignment. And we definitely have that art down. Now, patients that come to me that already have radiation or chemo or radiation beads, not so successful with, because now I'm battling the radiation constantly they have. But for patients that come to us, that's kind of, they just, found out about it, or they've had it for a while, but they didn't get chemo radiation, we've been pretty successful. It's not for everybody. It's depending on, their lifestyle, their health as well. So I can't say, we cure everybody. Cure with a K, because cure with a C is trademarked. But,
Yeah.
but
That's
yes,
amazing, though.
but thank you for asking that question. I'm doing pretty well. I'm very excited. I lost a lot of weight, so I'm really excited to keep losing more and more weight. I gained a little bit of weight the past couple of years, and it's sliding off. So I'm happy. I just got to stay with this guy, keep up with him, and then I'll be okay.
Let's do it. Plenty of adventures to come, man.
Yes, indeed. Jennifer, have you had opportunity to try Dr. Sandra Rose's Michael's EES system based on the Tesla frequency panels? We'd like it. Thank you. Yeah, Jennifer, I'm a big supporter. Dr. Sandra Michaels and I are brother and sister, so everybody knows we are really two people that we complement each other. I do a lot of her talks for her. She does talks with me, invites me on a lot of her, amazing speeches and conferences. I'm a firm believer in the EES system. I helped develop some of the long distance EES protocols with Dr. Stella in Nevada, and so yeah, it's scalar in photometry. Now we do scalar for killing people and for making hurricanes and burning down houses. And well, scalar photometry actually is really good for healing people. And this system, this EES system that Dr. Sandra Michael Rose, my sister, has developed, was something that they were able to use the frequency to actually heal, to actually regenerate the body. And that's what my system does at home with our scanners. We actually are using types of scalar photometry for long distance healings, where we can measure the photons off a picture and the photons off the face for long distance healing. We can actually see everything about the person.
Which you've done that to me, right?
Yes, I've done it to you.
Yeah,
Actually had a
so
scan with you.
It was accurate.
And it was amazing. We can see parasites, we can see viruses, cancers, all sorts of things. But it's not the cancers, that are killing people. That's there to protect you. When we go into those cells, we break it apart and we say, what DNA is actually in the cancers? Then we find out it's usually parasites, bacteria, viruses that are causing it. Then we go in and destruct them after we put you on a stat pack, and that has to do with the nano particle zinc. You can see that. You can look that up at emerysmith.co. We also recommend, if you are doing the EES system with Dr. Sandra Michael Rose, is that you do take the nano blue drink or the nano blue concentrate before it, because it helps get the scalar energy into the cell more effectively. For those of you that are doing the EES system. It looks dark on here. Do you guys see it dark? A little dark, right? Yeah. Okay. Hopefully you guys can see us. All right. So thank you, Jennifer. Okay. Here's all the Chad shout outs we did. Okay. Okay. Glenn says, Chad, last season you entered the cave and encountered hydrogen sulfide. Did you get back into the cave past the 300 feet? Yes, I am a hazmat tech.
Nice. Yeah, so I'm sure you know how dangerous the H2S is. We tried to go back in, and the hazards were too strong, so we actually covered up that hole. Not going back in that one probably ever again. There's too many other places to explore, so we kind of shut that one down. We found out the risk to reward was not all worth it. So yeah, we're focusing more on different areas of the ranch now, and we're finding some cool stuff. Stuff's coming up, and it's good.
Yeah, we're taking more and more samples of soil, air, definitely the water down there.
Yeah, yeah.
Very interesting things down there. We have the ability now, if I can talk about how we test some of the water.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Oh yeah.
Some of the stuff is super new that I'm doing, where we can take water and we can run it through a special DNA analyzer, and we can measure all the different types of DNA in there. It could be the smallest atomic molecule of some feces from a water bug, or a skin cell from Chad, or something else. Let's say a reptilian animal, or maybe a rat. And then we can break all that down and then say, hey, have you ever seen a wombat in here? You know, and that's what we're trying to figure out is like, what are all the different species, Earth species that are down there? And also, what are the unknown DNA genetic profiles that might be there? So these are things that we're working on the next 3 months, which will be very fascinating, I think, to figure out.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. We'll go back here. Okay, Beatrice, Tim, Tactical Advisor, is also a wonderful source of info. He absolutely is. One of my best friends as well. He said something on your cosmic disclosure. Oh, where'd it go? What happened there? Well, Beatrice, I was answering your question, and it just went. But Tim Tactics is great. I have so many episodes with him. I'm gonna start back at the top. Sorry, whatever happened there. Why Skinwalker Ranch is not viable? I don't know what viable. Viable means many different things. I'm just saying I'm not really. I just know too much about Skinwalker Ranch to really support it. It is a big thing out here. I think it's more based off of underground facilities and some things that kind of sometimes things get loose here and there. I don't think it's some evil extraterrestrial entities coming down and cutting up cows and taking people's samples or anything like that. Victoria, but Blind Frog Ranch is very viable. I'm firsthand experience out here. All my educators from the past 40 years that have been out here have real data, scientific data. And that's why I'm out here, to get real scientific data, not just because I remote viewed it and I see things, or not because I went out there, last 7 nights and have experiences. We have to look at everything. We have to look at it on both sides. And I think people like that about me. It's not just about talking about it, it's about also backing up with science, such as all my products are backed up by science. It's not something we just put together. A lot goes into it. Okay. Oh, Beatrice, I thought that souls choose their families, friends, etc., along with their spirit guides prior to entering the fetus. Yeah, I mean that's whatever your belief system is. It is that happens. When you're born. I'm agreeing with you, Beatrice, but I also know about cloning. I also know about 3D printing bodies. I also know about hybridizations. I don't believe those have souls in them. There's a lot of people walking around with no souls, and that's just my opinion. This has been documented, meaning, how do we measure souls? How do we measure that someone doesn't have a soul? That's a little bit more in-depth question. That's what we should be asking, and there are some ways to do that. Victoria, did you go back in to find the treasure under the planks under the water? Well, I think that's an ongoing thing. What's going on there, Chad, that you're allowed to talk about without giving anything away for season 3?
Yeah, so we deal with that season 3. We can't really say much about it, but it's been a process. The whole thing. Yeah, big. Yeah, you'll see.
Yeah.
Just stay tuned.
I'm telling you guys are going to be on the edge. I can't say anything either, but I was there. I'll tell you, Chad, you rocked it there. But there's, what do you? It's like Can't say. Can't
Right,
say.
right.
Can't say. Everyone's laughing at us right now. Okay. But I could say he went back under the water. Can I say that?
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
definitely went in.
Yeah.
All right. So Victoria. Oh, did you go? Okay. Yeah, he did. He went back in. Okay. Oh, Emery GPR. And what did you discover in regards to the object size? Um, I don't know if you're referring to one of three things, Glenn. So be, be a little bit specific on that one. Rewrite it because I'm going to answer it. All right, Daniel. The real treasure's in the DNA. You know, Daniel, it's really smart and conscious of you to say that, and that is the real treasure. The DNA that we're after is something that may or may not have ever been recorded before that could actually help us with our lineage of where we came from. Hypothetically, we haven't tested it yet. We're still ongoing testing. This next week, it's been a lot of work, a lot of excruciating hours out there, and the team here has been just amazing. What Chad and Dwayne has done, which has nothing to do with discovery, actually. They're actually doing it because they want to know. They want to show something and help the world, which I put my hats off to them for that. Amber, do you have the capability of testing DNA yourself? Government not involved. Well, it depends. There's different types of DNA testing out there. We do have the ability to do a lot clandestinely where the government cannot see it. We're not connected to the internet. There's no way they can have even Wi-Fi near us. Wi-Fi is the secret AI killer of humans for the future, so you know. The AI now can read your minds. It can read your dreams. The new published white papers out there. We were talking about this yesterday, where they showed dozens of people, a red car in front of a diner, and then they took the picture away. They hooked them up to the computer, and the computer drew a red car in front of a restaurant. So now that's the last thing I want, is that. And what we're doing to do that is we're developing biohacks. Like the nano blue is a biohack. When you take the nano, is it getting darker? Is it getting?
No, it's
What is that?
brightness in here.
Is it? Let's see here.
Oh, is
It might. Yes, maybe it's that.
How do we change that?
Oh,
Light it up more now.
maybe if we just let's see. Let's go on that corner there. Let's see here. Yeah. No, we'll just go on this side. Oh, that's better. There we are. We were dematerializing. I was like, "Where's Chad?" There. I went right through.
There we go.
Okay. All right. There we go. Oh, let's bring that one closer. This bucket of goodness. Okay. All right. So yeah, so we can do DNA clandestinely. Most DNA, like you hear this 23andMe and back, I would not recommend doing any public DNA testing from the sites. It's all reported. It all gets tracked for your genetic DNA imprint, your fingerprint of DNA. We don't want them having even more information about our loved ones or ourselves. Everyone's DNA has been logged in. If you've been to an airport, been to a subway, been to a train station, been to a bus station, just by scanning you when you come in, they have your genetic imprint. However, genetics can be changed. And that's been proven when they took two astronauts. One astronaut went up for 365 days and one stayed here. They were both twins, and they came back and their DNA was off a little bit. So we can biohack using my products like the 0.02 Nano Blue. These things over time build up a resistance and kind of reflect back different frequencies to discombobulate the trackers. All right. Valerie says, can you tell us what happened last night at the CE5? Well, Valerie, I don't know if you were here at the beginning. We did say a couple things. I think one of the coolest things is when we were looking over to the east, right? I think it was the east. When that silver disc came, it was like just there, sitting there. But you could elaborate, maybe share some things that you thought was, interesting. Communications.
Yeah. There was definitely something that came in and flashed real bright a few times, and then headed out of there. It was definitely not an airplane.
Remember the one that came in, and we were watching it. It was like, is that an airplane or a drone? And it goes super fast, and then stops and goes the opposite, and then up, and then it was doing this crazy. Unless they were a professional, crazy drone handler from the Olympics.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That won away over that. I was like, and he. By the way, Chad's a professional, real pilot, airplane pilot, and drone pilot, and everything else pilot. I can't wait to get him on an extraterrestrial vehicle. He's gonna rock that.
Yeah.
But these things were defying.
They were.
Any
Defying
type of
gravity.
defying gravity in ways we couldn't even imagine.
Right.
But yeah, so there's some really beautiful contact. Of course, we always have the frequency stuff come in. Duane was overwhelmed as soon as we got to the site, and we prepared this site for days ahead of time, which you should do during CE5s. So if you know where you're going, even if it's indoors, prepare that site, cleanse that site, maybe do a puja, or to do some sage. We're gonna do some sage. Where the site was and the craft was.
Yeah.
So there's a part of the site where the CE5 where we saw craft, and we're doing the actual CE5 this week. That it's this beautiful sage area. So we're going to actually go out there and collect a lot of that sage and do testing on it like we did the soil. But we're also going to wrap a bunch of sage up, and we're going to put it on the website if people would like to purchase that for their homes for smudging or food or whatever they want to do. I think when I go overseas to England to the crop circles, I always bring back so many different samples of the wheat and run many, many different tests on it. And even, believe it or not, I eat it. Yeah, I know. I don't know why people do that. Why do people, So I do that, and I look at different energies from the wheat, and I'm going to do that with this sage. But I want other people to experience this sage, because the sage now has a different charge. We have voltage meters. We have all these different meters that we test things before and after the CE5, and I do recommend you guys do that. There's a lot going on, which I think Chad and Duane didn't realize. It's a huge event when we do a CE5. There's many different modalities, not only satellite tracking and what satellites up in the air, and we have cameras going. We document if someone's like, hey, look, 10 degrees up in the north. That's being documented. We can go back, look at the footage, and then see what's there and document that, and then show the world. Which we're going to do after we're done with this expedition here in a couple weeks. All right. Tracy Powell, Emery, can you speak about the Nano Blue Aquafarine Concentrate and the serum that I understand from your Cosmic Market? I've been channeling microbiome, good, and crystals for nearly a decade. Well, you're going to love this because it's all about that. And curious if anyone's attempted this yet with your plasmas. Yes, they have. Many people have tested it with, of course, millivolts and voltage and electromagnetic field blocking. That means testing your electromagnetic field before and after taking the Nano Blue Aquafarine Concentrate, which you just take. It's a 50 ml vial. You take 3 mLs to 5 mLs a day. You can mix it with purified water, but we don't recommend that. We do have the water part, which is a more diluted product, but it still lasts a lot longer if you're going to actually stay on it daily. The concentrate is very, very powerful as far as energy-wise. It definitely enhances the microbiome, killing parasites, viruses. It's a bactericidal. Increases the energy, though, of your normal flora. So it knows not to kill the good guys living in your eyebrows and in your gut, but the bad guys, unfortunately, have to go. And Glenn says, in ancient text, it has been written in over the last 100 years as discoveries. Many portals have been obtained and confiscated. Have you found any portals on Blind Frog Ranch? I'm going to look at him because he's going to be my vetter, so I won't say anything unless he says it's okay.
As far as portals, we have had plenty of people come out and say there are portals. Now, as far as going somewhere in those. I haven't got to experience that, which I would love to. I haven't got to yet. Yeah, a lot of people come to the same conclusion that there are. Now, how to enter them or how to open them up, we're not exactly sure yet. And there's a lot of theories out there, but super interested and interesting topic, though, for sure. So I don't know. Do you, you might know more than I do. I'm sure
I
you
don't
do.
know if I'm a, what kind of, can I say? Or,
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, so it's loaded with portals, not only underground in the water where Chad's been, but there's portals like in the rocks, there's doorways.
Right.
I'll say.
Yeah.
Can I talk about?
Yeah, of course.
I don't, because I'm being really careful because, I'm under NDA with this. And I don't think you're going to see that on the show, but we're going to do some stuff. And so these energy vortexes, as a lot of you clairvoyants know, your intuitives that come out and scan these kind of areas that have those gifts, and many people out here have been out here and seen this, and one of them is one of family members and stuff here, your family members that come out and they see these things too. There's different times though that these energy vortexes open, and a lot of these cool little neat caves, a lot of them still have the petroglyphs where this was a birthing cave where there was an opening, up to the sky, and you can't make this up, where it is said that, the ancient Indians and ancient ones there would come and induce birthing practices when the full moon comes through the light of the cave.
Right.
And these are super highly energetic. It goes off on the tri-field meters, there's definitely something there. It fluctuates with the different star alignments that are out there. Most portals do. So there are numerous amount of portals on Blind Frog Ranch that need to be investigated, like you said, properly. With more, the more equipment, the more things that Duane and Chad get, and you guys can support them. I think on Duane's site or something. You guys have a site where people can reach you or something, email or something. Yeah, do you have an email that they can?
Yeah, so it'd be Blind Frog Ranch.
Blind Frog Ranch. Which one is it? Can we tell them? I'll type it.
Yeah, Blind Frog Ranch Outpost. I believe there's like T-shirts and.
Oh, it's a website and there's an email on there, or do you have an email just for that website? Or we got one?
So the outpost has that.
The Outpost, Blind Frog Ranch Outpost, has the website on. It has the email on it.
Yeah.
So there's an email on there, you guys, and you can contact them if you want to have some more information, or if you want to, they do give, exclusive. They stopped a lot of tours. Correctly, we're not doing the tours anymore, but for if you guys want to do VIP tours and donations and stuff, that's something you can write in and see what their people say. It is quite the experience, especially when you go into the pond. And I don't know if they're going to want to talk about this, but I'll talk about it because my team has been in this pond and had miraculous healings. And not saying everyone's going to have the same experience, by the way. All I'm saying is it wasn't just myself and my team. If you have had people come out here, and I know a lot of the people have come out here that have had, they go in this water, put their feet in for, an hour or so, or actually jump in, they come out and they have these amazing healing, instant healings of their back, disease and cancer, not saying that this is the fountain of youth. I'm just saying there's something going on down there because the mineralization that's coming out of all these areas on Blind Frog Ranch have this healing energy. And sleeping out there, for 7 days, you see things and feel things, and even the creeks that are coming there have some sort of vibrant energy. It's a glowing over the. You can see this glowing energy coming out of, you can see it with your eyes. There's something going on out there, and it wasn't just the moon, is what I'm saying. There's just some. So we're testing these energies, but could you mention a couple stories?
Yeah. So we had a previous tour guide out there, Cactus, and multiple stories. He'd bring people out, and they're just curious, or they had heard about the healing prospects or things about the water, and. There's people that had like back pain that lessened or healed themselves, or seizures, or migraines. I mean, we're not trying to sell anything out here, so
yeah, they definitely don't do that.
But that's the thing is there are real life people stories, and that are remarkable. So for some reason, the water is charged from somewhere that is helping raise vibration or some healing energy. I don't know. I don't know, but I do know about the stories, and it's very interesting.
It is interesting. Oh, yeah, yes, Sir Dwayne.
What about, help us out on this, what about the blue oil that George Stevens talks about comes and goes? Could that be a part of that water?
Yeah, so Duane Ollinger, let's give him a shout out back here. He actually was asking about, George Stevens caught this giant blue aura that comes and goes off of the ranch. And this blue aura is definitely a healing energy from Earth, giving it out to whatever is on top of the Earth. And it also has to do with those craft coming in and out, which we're not supposed to talk about. They keep coming in and out of the. You brought it up, Dwayne. So when these craft come in and out of the land, everyone can see it, and the blue thing comes up. He's latching. I was like, oh shit. So these energies come out, and these energies, have these some sort of healing photonic light, and that's why my stuff is nano blue. No, I'm just kidding. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with methylene blue. I wish though. So yeah, there's something to that, and George would not have, just been like, and I think the residual of whatever's going on in this portal, and with the craft coming in and out of this portal constantly, this residual of this blue plasma coming out over the land is saturating the land, and anything that has silica in it is holding on to that. Anything that has hydrogen electrons is holding on to that, like the water,
Right.
And Chad basically lives in the water like a merman. So that's why he's so vibrant and young and energetic. Yeah, sometimes he uses a tank, but most of the time he has these little, I don't know what they are, slits behind his ear. I don't know what's going on there. I have to take a sample of that one.
Yeah.
He covers them up. He doesn't want anyone to see. So I think like I said, the land is gifted and it's here for healing. And I can't wait to measure all the different creatures here, here on the ranch to see if there's something else going on. But I'm glad you brought that up, Dwayne. Okay, what exactly are energy beams? I think we're talking about, Beatrice, the energy beam weapons that we have in space that start fires and kill people and create weather anomalies and hurricanes and tornadoes, and also spontaneously human combust people at will. These energy beam weapons, direct energy beam weapons, can start a fire, just in a small 1 meter area, and that's it. And that's why you see houses completely burned down, but a car and 6 trees next to it are perfectly fine. So these are very energy directed beam weapons. And you can look up, the best way for me to teach you guys is how I was taught by Tom Bearden. Tom Bearden has a book. They tried to take it off, the market, by the way. It's called Oblivion. And if you want to really learn about scalar infotopmetry and energy beam weapons and who controls them and how many G7, G8, G9 countries have it, read that book. Tom Bearden, Oblivion. Wendy says, can you comment on the cloned political figures and any ET infiltration? It's not ET infiltration, it's government infiltration. And yes, there's multiple cloned politicians. That was quick. Jude. Hi, Emery. Beatrice has a great question about the Ancestry DNA kits. I would not venture into that. It'd be better to go to a clairvoyant and kind of figure it out that way, or ask a lot of your family members. You can still do it. There's just, my DNA is everywhere around the planet because of being in the project, so they have everything. Plus, I worked with Gary Nolan at Stanford on the genome sequencing of the atomic being. So there's a lot of things out there that are floating around that they're trying to market now, like that me and 23 and all these genetic companies that are actually controlled by the government. By the way, when you sign those things, you've got to be careful. Small print says they're allowed to give it to the police, that the government has access to this for murderers and people they're trying to find with DNA. So you're basically getting fingerprinted by the police every time you donate your DNA. Be careful. Not to say any of you would do something like that. I'm just saying, how many times people grab stuff, or you grab, people make you hold stuff and then they take it and then turn you in for something you never did. Is that just me? Gosh, no one gets my jokes anymore. Okay. Glenn says, Chad, can you speak about the blue material composition that you encountered while drilling at Blind Frog Ranch? Was it magnetic, radioactive, unused properties?
So it was not magnetic, no. But the weird thing about it is whenever we would drill in and reach this blue dirt, that's the first time that my dad saw all the UFOs come in. And then we did another time, and then we heard different strange things that happened again that night. And we just hit it again, and similar things happened. So that's what we don't know. We don't know the actual makeup of it. It's a type of clay, but it's more than that. It has some kind of energy to it that we can't really test, or we can't what's the word? We haven't figured out exactly the makeup of it, but we do know that every time we do drill into the blue dirt, shit gets wild. I'm talking about
the energy is released from the planet.
Yeah. That's what we do know about it.
Like George Stevens says, that blue light. Now we got this blue layer.
Yeah, but it's not radioactive. It's not magnetic, but it does do something.
I'm gonna have to eat some and find out.
Yeah, we should try.
I'm gonna try that.
Nice.
Everyone's looking at me. We're getting slap happy. I don't have a sample of that yet. Actually,
we have some. We can get.
Maybe I can get a little bit.
Yeah.
Not to eat, actually. Give to someone else to eat, so I can watch what happens.
For a friend.
Right. All right. That's a good question, Glenn. Dwight, how can I get my own blood tested for ETDNA? What labs do you recommend? Yeah, they don't have that, Dwight, yet. And I'm begging, and we should petition the entire government to release. Now that they have admitted that they have ETs, they admitted, Grush was out there. We have ETs now. That launched all these things. So we have ETs, we have ET buys, we have ET craft that are organic with DNA samples. I'm glad it's all out. They did a great job at soft disclosure. They did ask me and Richard Doty and David Adair to come forward and do a release too, but we're not going to do that because we don't want to end up like the governor of Arizona during the Phoenix Lights where they made fun of it. We're part of the hard disclosure. They are aware of us. I get a lot of questions on that. If you watch my episode, if you go to emerysmith.co, you can actually watch that episode. It's 4 hours long. Richard Doty, Emery Smith, David Dare, Tim Tactics. Check that episode out. And we get into the nitty gritty. It's all, we're swearing and cussing and telling everything how it is. The great thing about this platform we have with Vimeo and my new thing is we can swear, we can say things. Just so you know, when we're doing other projects, we can't be on, when the camera's on us, Dwayne, we can't fucking say a fucking goddamn fucking motherfucking thing. So here you can, and nothing's going to get cut out. And I'm not a, they're saying I'm fucking up, see. I don't believe in swearing. I think it's a curse, but it is funny for, to say between humans that we're all just joking. So please don't curse people. It's not fucking nice. All right. Okay, Daniel. Yes, Lilia. Okay. Blonde, brown hair, and black hair European-looking people are more likely from Pleiades. Asians are descendants of gray extraterrestrials. Well, I can't comment on that. I can say that I've operated on a lot of those beings, and they all look kind of different. I can definitely say Asians and the Nordic whites and African descendants and even European descendants and Peruvian and Tibetan descendants are very similar too, and they all have completely different genetic extraterrestrial DNA. That's all I can say about that. Naomi says, how can humans best prepare themselves for a time when extraterrestrials and humans may coexist on the planet? They already do. It's not as widespread known. The best way to prepare themselves is to be more open and not be so judgmental and, think out of the box and not, treat everyone that you meet as if they were God himself, whatever your God is, by the way. Glenn, I could only imagine that his maps, John Lear. He was incredibly informed. I will try to make those available to the public by the end of the year. They are fascinating maps to see how many maglev and vacuum tubes are going from here to Australia and just from here to Utah, Provo, underground maglevs. These things go, 1,200 to 2,500 miles per hour, and they transport people from here to DC to White Sands National Monument, Alamogordo, of course, Denver. I mean, it goes on and on. It's really beautiful how it's laid out. Glenn, CE5 in Sedona with Ruben Langdon on the 21st. Very excited. Oh, well, tell us how it goes. I always support all CE5s around the world. Amber, SearsDisclosure.com, Stephen Greer's a great site. Yeah, Amber. Yeah, post that's great. I still support Stephen, even though I'm not with CSET anymore. And, that's because of my own. I have other bigger and better things I had to get out to the public, and we just kind of separated on good terms there. All right, Wendy, any comments about recent Las Vegas ET encounter? Yeah, Wendy, that was definitely down the road for me. That was a real ET encounter. It was an emergency landing, not a crash landing. They had to land, and they definitely, as Richard Doty, we talk about this, by the way, on if you go to emerysmith.co, watch that 4-hour presentation. We go into the Las Vegas encounter. Yeah, they did take all their phones. So this craft came down in Las Vegas,
Right.
and this family was there in a regular suburban area, and they called 911 and said, "Hey, there's a craft here in the back of my house, and there's just two giant 10-foot tall beings,
Right.
and what do we do?" Very calm, and the great thing about it, it was captured by 30 Ring door cameras in the area. And most importantly, the local police department on their body cams caught it in different parts of Las Vegas.
Wow.
So they zoomed over and they were like, "Hey, what?" And they're like, "Yeah, it's back here. Come on." And he's like, "Are you serious? There's something in your yard." Because he says, "We just got calls that people are reporting that something has crashed over here." And what was that?
Missing some questions.
Oh, missing. Okay. And so it was real. And they had an emergency landing. They had to get out, and there was a lot of footage. They covered it all up. The family's still there. They're being super quiet now. I think it's fascinating because this is happening all the time, where it's getting covered up. But when it happens in a metropolitan area,
What did they
you
do?
can't BS it.
Right.
Well, the craft. I don't know what they did with the craft, but the beings were able to cloak themselves. They were able to dematerialize and probably go to another craft or something. I do believe the craft did teletransport someone because they got there, and this is all on camera. So they did film these beings, these giant beings.
Right.
The kids were, and the adults saw this, and of course it was captured this thing coming down. So, but it wasn't there after they went in there. They're saying it wasn't there. I don't know the inside. Richard Doty, I think, is going to give an update on that soon. But we go into it really in good detail on that video. If you guys want to sign up for that on my website, it's pretty compelling. All right, let me go back. They're saying put my spectacles on. What I'm doing is I'm going right to the top, and I keep going back. But I'll go to the bottom and work my way up. This is 449. Okay, 350. Now I got to start still from the top. Okay, that was Wendy. Any comments? That was at 349. I'm going to Nancy in Oregon. Okay. Okay, thanks, guys. Are just talking. Wendy, when you do a CE5, how do you discern between positive, ETs, neutral, and well, what do you feel? Good, bad? Then that's what you go with. Heart. Use your heart chakra. All right, heart chakra. Lilia. There are also people whose DNA is related to Anunnaki, definitely. And these are people from the Middle East. No, not everyone. But we are all mixture of all these DNAs from ET. Correct. Naomi. Okay, you're putting that stuff. All right, Glenn. Positive intention, heart coherence. Yep. Nancy, thank you. Victoria, please tell me more about Jeremiah Davis and the Galactic Federation he was part of. We did go over that, Victoria. I don't know if you were here. You can rewind that. We had Duane Ollinger here in the background talking about that. Has Blind Grog Ranch and any more encounters with Federation and its reps and UFOs? I know Victoria says, I know you meant frog. Yeah, there's contact going on. That's all I can really tell you about that. Lilia, are Draco reptilians and Dark Fleet are still trading humans from Earth for slavery? Are Draco reptilians and Dark Fleet are still trading humans from Earth for slavery, for using them as clones or super soldiers? Well, there's many different aspects. I'll give you my opinion. There's always a human bargaining system going on, unfortunately, with many different races out there. Not so much for slavery, but for other means. You know, it is what it is, and there is this embargo thing. And if you want to know more about that, you can definitely watch our episodes on Gaia with Randy Kramer. He gets really in detail with this. It is kind of a negative aspect that we don't like to focus on. The clones are definitely made all the time. Super soldiers, not so much. I was part of the super soldier program in the 90s, and we were just trying to make soldiers not big and strong and like that. We're trying to make them smarter, more cognitive, and have their brains operate instead at 24 frames a second, more like at 50 frames a second, and their cognitive function. So they know if you're having the intention to swing a punch, that they are going to know way ahead of time, not only to block the punch, but probably grab you, control you, and say, why do you want to punch me right now? So it's more about being conscious, more conscious than the target, than trying to manhandle someone into that. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Awesome.
And also mental, mentally, I was trained in a lot of martial arts, but I was also trained in AOK, which is art of kill, because we don't have time to block and do all this stuff. We're just going to go and kill you. And that was one of the things that super soldiers were being trained in, was mentally how to shut someone down for about a half a second. So they couldn't respond for just a half, because that's all you need to, and then it's gone. They're out. And just
Yeah.
that's what they do in that super soldier program, those guys. So it's more about this psychic awareness and this telepathy thing. And that's how they do it. Okay. Positive intention, heart coherence has much to do with, yeah, that's right. Oh, we're going back. All right, I'll give her put my glasses on. All right. I got to trade my eyeballs in again. We did that. Okay. Okay, Dwight. We'll go to Dwight. Where's Dwight here? All right, Dwight, the dim do? Okay. It's dim due to the sun coming through the window shade. Oh, man, that was way before. It's after 410. No, it's 402. Need to start at the bottom. Okay, Dwight. Okay. Dwight, what's Emery's opinion on the Pentagon recently launched UFO reporting site? Is it legit or smokescreen? The UFO craft posted on it really doesn't show anything new. Yeah, no, it's total discombobulation. Yeah, it's there. People can, they can report, all they want. It's just like anything else. He said, she said, especially the people who are coming forward, they don't have direct, all my people, we're directly connected with the government, the ETs, the craft. We've seen it. What's coming out as a soft disclosure saying, I heard it was this, my commander said it was that. The great thing is the commanders are backing up the individual saying, yeah, it's true, it's happening, and that's how this soft disclosure is happening. Why is it happening right now? Which I'm going to ask the question to myself, is because there is a craft coming from Jupiter and Saturn that's on its way here, and its trajectory should be here around December or January, and they're going to have to answer that. This giant craft, 30 miles long. There's something coming, moving under its own steam, as the Navy Admiral said. So they're going to have to say something. All right. Yes, Kathy, I am a hybrid. All right, Beatrice, have you heard of draconian beings who torture kids for adrenochrome? Well, the draconians, Anunnaki, and Nephilim, they are, we are kind of a shish kebab to them now and then. We're not their main meal, but yeah, they do eat humans, unfortunately. Very disgusting. Their craft smells like rotted, decaying flesh. Victoria, lactophilia. Okay, we did that.
One other question about elementary.
Okay, let's go back there.
What's the size of the anomaly?
Who is this?
Glenn.
Glenn.
It was at 425.
Oh, that's better. See if you do that, that can go right to it. Okay, Glenn said ground penetrating radar. What was the size of the anomalies in which you found respect to unknown or terrestrial objects? You're dancing around the question. Yeah, of course. You know, we can't really talk exactly about that. We can just say the discovery of more caverns, maybe.
Yeah.
More aquifers and caverns and
Yeah, and things we that are pretty far out there. Yeah.
yeah, pretty far out there.
Yeah.
That's a hint. Whoa, did you see that?
Yeah.
So yeah, we can't talk about that on this not yet because you're going to see some stuff in the episodes, but we're also putting it together. I mean, there's things being picked up that like I'm getting called in to say, hey, what the heck is that? Like I've done in the past for other archaeological expeditions, and it's fascinating, and I think people are really going to be receptive to it, and it's definitely going to be an eye opener because the things that are being discovered on Blind Frog Ranch have never been discovered publicly before. So I think it's a very positive thing that's going on out here. Let's see. I know we're going to go over a little bit. I hope that's okay. 15 minutes or so because I know we started a little late. Did we 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4? What time did we start on this one? 3 to 4, 4, 5. Okay, got it. We're in a different time zone. Yeah, I know. Beecher says it's gross what they do. All right, let me go back. I'm jumping around. What do you see there? What's the next one? You see another Amber. Okay.
Just go back from where the question was and start.
Okay.
Where you started at Dwight and then go down.
Just give me a number. What time?
441.
Oh, okay, I could do that. Okay. Oh yeah, Chad. This is from Glenn, Chad. So Chad, we know that many large caverns deep underground have crystals that are more than 35 feet in length. Is this the same case of energy?
As far as our
Yeah.
caverns, we haven't located crystals yet, but very possible. We haven't discovered the whole uh, array of tunnels yet, so very possible. We don't quite know yet.
You have a lot of granite. You can maybe tell them about the different types of rock and stone
Yeah,
out
yeah,
there. I
yeah.
mean, it's really fascinating. We're taking a lot of samples of this.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So the caves are mainly granite. That's what we're finding,
Mhm.
and then still a lot of exploring to do and testing, no doubt.
Yeah. Lilia, yes, would like to get education about your tools and devices. Yeah, Lilia, that's a great idea. I think while I'm out here, I started doing it yesterday. We were filming it, but it got really dark. I'm going to lay out all the different tools. And like, remember yesterday, we're kind of going through that. You gave me a little video of
Oh, yeah,
how we
yeah.
went through all the
Right,
stuff.
right.
So I want people to see all the different tools that I use. And I'll lay that out. That's going to be a whole day kind of thing. And okay. And Chad too. Chad's got a lot of cool instruments we use. I love all his drones and things that he uses. Very high class stuff. You said 420? 428. Okay. Okay. Oh, Emery, do you still support the device from lethealth.us, Cosmotic or Skinar? Oh, Lily, I'm telling you, even though I make a multi-wave oscillator, the LAT Health medical device, hands down, is one of the most amazing Skinar Cosmotic ENS systems, not Scalar, Skinar cosmonaut, different energy system developed by the Russians. I totally support them. They now just got their rights back because Russia was developing these, and when the war broke out, we had to do a lot of back and forth of getting the units in and making sure that there was no legal issues being. There was a lot of legal issues. So now it's all full blown. They just told me they're ready to accept orders. So please, if you want to, I do know of a person that had recently purchased one, and they have to sell it. So contact me directly at Cosmic Market. Was it Cosmic Market 3? Yeah, Cosmic Market 3 at gmail.com. And we can put you in contact with that person. But really, these devices are hands down. Everyone knows I've used these ever since I went through the astronaut program at NASA. And I was so jealous. These cosmonauts are in the cafeteria, and they got this little cool thing on their belt. They're opening it up and they're putting it on their bodies. And, behind looks like they're doing massages to each other. And I was like, what is that thing? Yeah, I was like, man, got all this cool stuff. I got a flight suit, look like a goofball. I got no cool belt like like Luke Skywalker does. And they got all the cool stuff. And they got my guys like, oh, that's that Skinar thing. And I was like, what's that? And they're like, oh, this thing has special energies, and it's like a mini rife machine. It carries all these frequencies in it. And if they get in pain, or if they break their leg, or have a headache, or menstrual cramps, or whatever, they put it on and it heals it. And it fixes the ailment. And I was like, get the heck out of here. So, and they're like, yeah, it's like this cool thing. It's like super clandestine. We're not allowed to have them. I was like exactly. Like, what do we have as astronauts?
Right.
They get this cool thing with a computer on it and whatever it does.
Right.
They said, oh, check your left front pocket. I was like, what? And I opened it up. This Bayer aspirin? I'm going all the way up there on Bayer aspirin? Not even with a blue moon? And they get this, $50,000 thing that they wear and they show it off, So I became friends with some of the cosmonauts out there that first year, and he gifted me one. And I protected this thing, and I was swore by it, used it on my family, me, traveled around the world with it. People, even customs wouldn't even question, oh, that's my TENS unit. Oh, okay, no problem, go ahead. What's that? Oh, that's a bowling ball candle. Oh, no problem, take that. So that's a joke from Seinfeld. But I'm so fed up with traveling and the security.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so it works. It's amazing. You can still get them now. lethealth.us. You can mention my name, and they'll probably charge you more. No, they'll take care of you. And I swear by it. It has so many adapters because they use shungite. They use these ear probes. They're expensive. They're like $9,500 with all the attachments. Another $1,000 or so. They're super durable. So I had mine for like a decade, and I came home one day, and my dog was looking at me really weird. Raven, my pit bull. And I said, what's going on? She's like, God, nothing. Nothing over here to see.
Uh-oh.
You don't need to come over here at all, Dad. Just go over there. Go to the bedroom and take a shower, son. Everything's fine over here. And I was like, what? And I walked back through the dining room to the living room, and there's my LAT $12,500 unit shredded. Chewed it up like a bone. And I'm like, no way. And I looked at her, and I was like, what are you going to do? The big brown eyes. I was like, oh, man. So I called Russia. I said, hey, and I'm a big proprietor. I pushed them, never asked for anything. I'm a big supporter of them. And I talked to my friends over there, like, okay, Smith, go ahead and put it in the, go ahead and put it in the mail. Make sure you label it, it's just a sample, and put it cosmetics. It'll be fine. We'll get it. We'll fix it for you. And I said, fantastic. I was like, no way they could fix this.
Right.
So I put it all in and sent it over, just praying that maybe their gift, be nice to me or something. He calls me back, a couple weeks. Smith, what the hell happened to this? And I said, oh, there was a canine situation. He goes, oh, the canines, yeah. This is unrepairable. And I said, oh, no. He's like, yeah, but that's okay. We send you a brand new one, much better. And I said, thank you. And he did.
Nice.
And I was just so thankful. And they sent it to me. So I started doing education. I was teaching it. And it was illegal in the United States. You couldn't have these. So whenever time I flew over to Germany and Russia, I would buy a bunch of them and bring them back for my doctors. And then I started teaching civilians how to use it. And then they came over to open a company to sell them. And they threw the inventor and the doctor in prison for 5 years because they were claiming it cured cancers. Which, of course, it totally does.
It does.
And no one likes me to say this stuff. And other things. And they got out, and they fought it after they got out of prison, and they reopened lethealth.us, and they're still doing it, and they're saving lives all over the United States and Canada. So God bless them, and I would support them. So, yeah, check that out. That's a good question. Let's see. Yeah, Lily, that's a great device. LAT Health, yeah. The Skenar, Scenar. Have you ever seen a portal in the sky, Andrea? Absolutely. They're all over. Skies, ground, water, rocks, my closet. Miranda, is this being recorded for us? What being, Miranda? What she mean?
Are you recording it?
Yes, there will be a replay.
Yeah, there's going to be a replay. Yeah. There's going to be a replay for those who have purchased it. Those who haven't seen it can purchase it and watch it at a later time. Okay, Daniel, can you tell me more about the products that are tested excluding safety tests? The text for such as the lethealth.us, there's lots of white papers on it. It's been around. This is something, 30 years in the making, based off frequency, different types of frequencies. So it links to your neurological system and reads your neurosystem, and that's how it knows if you have a broken. So you might put it on your heart, but you'll feel it in your ankle because that's where you have the problem.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's very intuitive. I actually say that it's the first piece of consciousness-assisted technology that I've ever seen for civilian use, which means it is alive and it reads bodies and it knows the different bodies when you. The Nano Blue. Yeah, so the Nano Blue, we have data safety sheets on that. It goes, it's made in a white, we have a special laboratory room that's approved. It's a sterile room that we make all this stuff. It takes many days just to make a quart of this stuff. We're trying to get larger manufacturing. These are what we call clean rooms that are registered. As far as the product goes, the testing on that is very expensive, and we do the testing because we have to find out. We found out by, you might say, oh, colloidal silver, we take 10 parts per million. Oh, we take, 100 parts per million. Well, that's great, but this is a product where size does matter, no pun intended, because the smaller the particle, the better it gets through the cellular membrane. So by high voltage electricity and high voltage magnetism that we use, we separate these elements of silver and gold and all copper and palladium. All the ormuses are in there, but we make them a lot smaller, and that's the secret. Plus, we add it to the fourth state of water, where we add an extra hydrogen electron to the water, which forms a covalent bond with all the ingredients that are in there. So if you go to emerysmith.co, just search Nano Blue and read all the ingredients that are in there. Debbie, are you familiar with the Radu Sinamar books about Besiege Mountains? No, I heard something about that in Romania, but I don't know too much about it. How can we remove nano-uranium, nano-barium, strontium, and nano-aluminum coming from chemtrails? Oh, that's a great question. Well, the Nano Blue actually blocks against that, and it does chelate a lot. However, you still need to take deuterium-depleted water from light water. Deuterium is a radioactive isotope that's in all water, and that's why we age. Sun and deuterium is why we age. So by getting on a deuterium-depleted diet, and adding the nano blue and taking the light water from, I think you could look up the light water company. Oh my goodness, it's great. And this is how you want to cleanse yourself of all this stuff. We need to chelate all that out of your body, and it takes time. So that's some of the best ways to do it, because the nano blue contains nanoparticles of zeolite, and zeolite is a natural chelator. Our zeolite has two extra unnamed minerals in it because it joined with a meteorite from outer space a very, very long time ago. The zeolite that we use has been in use for over 30 years on patients. So it's very safe. It was developed by Dr. Don Shockey, who is an ophthalmic surgeon that had access to this secret mine that we'll be visiting hopefully in the month here or so. So these special zeolites, there's so many different kinds of zeolites out there, but our zeolite is a nanoparticle and it chelates the pineal gland. So the nano blue has everything in it that you need to chelate, and you need to enzymatically clean the pineal gland so you can be more enlightened and see, with that third eye. We were actually talking about one of your someone had, I think it was Charlie, had a blind patient that they took into your waters, and they started having some sort of pictures in their mind, which they never had before, and that's because it was enzymatically clean that pineal gland in there, I believe. What can cure a damaged nervous system? Well, Amber, it depends on what the damage is. We do exosomes. We do exosome therapy here in Nevada at our clinic. Exosome therapy. I developed the first tabletop stem cell concentrator and platelet-rich plasma concentrator. You can look up a few of my hundreds of patents. These things are amazing. However, the new stuff is exosomes. So stem cells are like the size of a school bus, and an exosome is the size of a grain of sand next to the school bus. Actually, Duane Ollinger and his loved one had exosomes infused into their body actually 4 weeks ago, and they're having great results from it. So yeah, exosomes are the new stem cell. Determined water is good for detox. Get on a purified water and incorporate the nano zinc, which has the zeolite in it, and stay on just stay on that, because it's not something that happens overnight. You have the buildup of these metals in your brain, and we figured a way how to chelate that. We measure it by using MRIs and CAT scans and X-rays to see after someone's taken the nano blue concentrate over 1, 2, 3, up to 6 months to watch the decrease in the decalcification of that. Debbie, last question for now. How can we best help support you and your research and work? Thanks so much for sharing with us. Well, thanks, Debbie. I mean, we're not a 501c3. We do accept donations, online, but we put products out to help people. So it's really about getting products out there for you guys to protect yourselves and to help others in your community. The education is most important. So the more we can get this information out, the more people we can affect. Okay. All right. I'll take one more question. It's been so much fun over here with you guys. Lilia, once you told Emery that full stem cell replacement may cure my son's autism, do you do this yourself? And who is a reliable source for this treatment? Yeah, I definitely still believe in that. Stem cells are amazing. I think, what we're doing is we're mixing stem cells now with the exosomes, with other modalities, because it's not just one thing. There's no one and done. There's not like you take nano blue and you're good to go. No, it's about a plethora of stuff, and every patient's different. So I think the best thing that I would recommend is first do a scan with us, either a long distance scan or send in a fingernail or a hair follicle. We can do a scan, see what's going on first before we jump into any treatments. Then we would maybe a type of diagnosis and look at the big picture, and then send you in the right path. So that's what I would recommend. That goes for everybody on here. Before starting stuff, even, before I do deuterium depleted water, I want to know what my deuterium levels are. And Dr. Philip Goy, my great scientist researcher friend, developed that swab, and I think you can get it on lightwater.com. And it's an easy swab, and you send it in. We find out what your deuterium levels are first, so we have a baseline. Doctors want to come in, give you the shot, and get out of here. That's not the way to do it. We have to find out what's wrong with the body first before we start jacking you up with all this crazy stuff. So look at, if you can afford it, try to get a scan. If you can't afford the scan, work with us. We'll work with you, as we've done with lots of patients out there. And you can, reach me on my website. We'd be more than happy to help you guys out. Well, I want to thank Chad for joining me. It was such a surprise for coming down, and Duane Ollinger and the team here. Darla, thank you so much. We are going to be doing this again soon. And like I said, if you need to reach Chad, you can get him on the Blind Frog Ranch website there, right?
Yeah, or I got on Instagram, Chad Ollinger.
Oh, yeah, you're on Instagram. Yeah, check it out. So much intriguing stuff. Yes. Oh, wait. I have one more question in the audience here. We have a live audience, by the way. Here. Yes, Duane.
What do you think about Las Vegas, New Mexico area?
Oh, Duane is asking me a super classified question. Of course he would do that on live video. He's asking me, what do I think about Las Vegas, New Mexico? I have a lot of experience in Las Vegas, New Mexico, and it is one of the next big hot spots on my my books, because everyone knows I lived in New Mexico for many years, being stationed there, and Los Alamos and Sandia Labs and everything, and I've done a lot of expeditions and treasure hunts in New Mexico that all were very fruitful, and there's a lot of ET stuff going on over there. That specific area, though, has a different type of energy that is coming from all around the universe, not just planet Earth, which I find compelling, because lots of portals, like on Blind Frog Ranch, we see these portals. They're connected to this beautiful system of labyrinths, and it's also connected to ley lines on Earth. And we talked about this last night during CE5. There's ley lines in the universe. So there's different parts of the planet that have the ley lines of the universe connected to the ley lines of that planet. And for some reason, through my studies, I've noticed that Las Vegas is that entry port. Hope that answered it. Oh, yeah. Well, thank you, guys. I appreciate it. And thank all of you.
Yes.
Please sign up
Thank
for
you.
next week. We're going to have another one next Sunday. And I want to have Chad come back after we get all that, all those studies done and all the microscope information and analysis done, and maybe we'll do another one. And I would really appreciate that.
Yeah,
and
let's
we're
do
going
it.
on some more expeditions,
Yeah,
you and
yeah.
I,
Yeah,
and we will definitely live stream those expeditions with Chad and I in the near future, and get you down with us in the nitty gritty, not so much being undercover, but actually out in the open. So many blessings to you guys. I love you guys, and we'll talk to you very soon. Thank you, Darcy, for everything. Really appreciate it. Darcy's my girl there that takes care of all this stuff. She's the manager, figures everything out, and allows. Oh, her twin sisters are saying no. She's my girl. Okay, so I get them confused sometimes. You never know. All right, love you guys. Take care.